honest, everyone, it's been a really tough time, right? It's been a really tough time these days, and so finding the funny isn't that easy, right? And so, so I actually came up with an idea, which is to do like a deep dive into my past for what I would call unexamined sources of joy. Like new things I can go like, well, that makes me feel happy. And one of them is like, I'm glad tattoos weren't a thing when I was 15. Right? Because I would have like intractable baby right here, and I'd be spending the rest of my life trying to figure out what the frig is a gata davida. We never knew. And, that was kind of what made it cool, that you didn't know, your parents didn't know. They'd be like, what's this gata davida thing? And you'd be like, it just, because another source of joy, we didn't have the internet back then, right? Yeah, there were, you didn't have to have origin stories for everything. And I think it was an interesting time where, you could really say, let's just live with the mystery. That was part of what made it great. Another unexamined source of joy was actually, for me, I took some time thinking about third grade. Something came up that made me think about, like, God, that happened in third grade, and I'm all the better for it. Some years back, I was cast in a Pickle Ball web series, and I know. And I played Patty, a cranky, aging woman that was kind of a know-it-all, a real stretch for me artistically, you could say. And, so I brought to the set Brooklyn Bridge Park. I brought some sandwiches, it was on location. I'm like, I'm going to bring sandwiches. And so the youngsters gathered around, and they said, what's this? Kind of pointing to the sandwiches. I was like, yeah, peanut butter and jelly. And they were like, no, what's this? And I said, penmanship? Cursive writing? Like, I blew their mind with script, everyone. Something I learned in, like, third grade. And I'm just wondering if that's, like, an unacknowledged superpower that many of us in this room might have. Another thing I've been doing is, this has been fascinating. I'm looking back to see how we dealt with like solutions to intractable problems way back when. And when solutions were found that were obvious, we were like, okay, we can solve this problem. It seemed intractable, but we've actually solved it, because I think that could be good training for what we're dealing with today. I think we could learn a lot from that. And here would be my case in point for you. Luggage, okay? Way back when, in the 60s, 70s, and so forth, we just dragged luggage. Right? We kicked it, we pushed it, we pulled it, we threw it downstairs, we dragged it across railway platforms, and never once did anyone in this room, to the best of my knowledge, and certainly not me, ever go, why isn't this luggage on wheels? Now, we were dragging it around. It was like traveling with an anesthetized sheepdog, basically. And so we never said, let's put this luggage on wheels. And so that's an example. We were surrounded by wheels, by the way. Wheels were everywhere. Skateboards, bikes, cars, right? There was no problem with wheels. We just couldn't put those two things together, right? And so I think we need to study it, because it was an obvious solution. And remember, we're having some intractable problems right now. It's an obvious solution. What can we learn from it? So let's study that for a minute. Who put luggage on wheels? A pilot put luggage on wheels, right? What we would call in my day job business an SME, a subject matter expert. Someone This guy had to travel like 200,000 miles, a year. He's like, I just can't take this anymore. And he bolted wheels onto the bottom of his luggage, and thus rolling luggage was born. Right. And, what I think about that is, what can we learn? Who are the subject matter experts today? Like, what could we learn from way back when and from today? And I say to you right now, number one, you remember playgrounds, you remember recess, you remember cafeterias. People in this room, I kind of know you do. And you know what? We knew how to manage a bully, didn't we? Way back when. We knew what to do about that. And it was a collective effort, and there was a little bit of a kid posse. Not everyone took the bully on, but we knew how to alienate the person, maybe not sit with them at the lunch table, and their behavior would change because they wanted to be part of something social. There was also a voice that was in play way back when, and that voice was a voice that said things like, play nice, right? Share. How about the voice that said, yeah, people are irritating, some of the kids are irritating, but you know what? Just deal with it. This is part of how your character is built. There are differences. And if we go to the root of that voice, it turns out that voice, I'm pretty sure, for many of us, is the voice of a woman. Right? It's our mother, it's our sister, it's an auntie, it's a granny, it's a teacher, it's a woman. Now, look, there are men who have that message too, and some of them are in this room, and we thank you. But I want to really talk about a completely unrealized resource, I think, in our world today that will help us deal with this problem. The first thing is, women have to get in the room where it happens. I mean, let's just be honest about it, right? And we're already, we're like running the PTA. Maybe we're like the mayor of our town. That's great. We're on the Board of Education. Those things are really great, and that's how it all starts. And we have some of those people in this room tonight. It's amazing. It's really important work. Nothing is more important than what you're doing at the local level. But as you start to kind of build up, 93% of world leaders are men. Are we like wondering why the world feels like it's burning? We have entire kingdoms in this world right now where girls can't learn. They're literally not allowed out of their homes. So we got some problems. And as I began to think about, the role women have played in our past, it just seems so obvious to me that what we really need to do, everyone, is we've got to, I would say, bolt wheels to women, right? We got to put women on wheels, everyone. Because they need a glide path to get up there. It's not going to, we know we have the leadership qualities. We know we can do it, but we need to get the glide path to get more of us in the room where it happens. And if there are cynics out there going, well, I don't know if this is going to work, what I just want to say to you right now is, for every Marjorie, there are 100 Mikeys. I think you know what I'm talking about right now. So let's remember who we are as a gender and our unexpressed power, and let's do what we can to help these smart, tough, accomplished, decent, fair-minded people, these people who can say play nice, but they also know how to play hardball too, if that's what it takes, right? You're with me on this, right? So I'm going to tell you something. This is very exciting because this is going to be something that we can all collectively be proud of because you will have all contributed to this. I'm donating the net proceeds from tonight's show to Emily's List. And Early money is like yeast. You know, what do women struggle with? It's that they can't get the money together early on to really kind of take that next big step. And Emily's List is a proven way to do it. They resource and support women all across the country. And I'm going to use my penmanship. And I'm going to write them a very sweet note, and I'm going to send a picture of this audience and say, this comes from all of us to you. So we need to write more nice notes, so I just want to say that.